Countless and countless times, we have sat here, blacklisting entire families, beating down the people that actually do their jobs due to them not wanting to relate in a war-based community or focus their family entirely on war. You add more restrictions to unblessed families. The blessing council is so small and compact that no one can get a blessing anymore unless you do something for one of the blessing council families. And yet these blessed families come out and say, this community's dead, it's inactive, it's gone to shit, it's dying. But yet you don't take the time to think about your actions and what may have caused it. And the answer is you. You blacklisted an entire family of 115 men over a guy named Nero and his friend. You had the option to bring back Vetrano, and you sat on it because you were scared that they would take your power and your control. You sent 115 men out of their habitat, out of a place that they were comfortable, over the mistakes of 2 men. And yet, especially after the blacklisting of Ritorno, you sit there and you complain about an activity and how it's dying. It's because you caused it. You had the option to bring back activity to this community, bring back a large number of people into this community, with terms that Ritorno would get rid of the 2 that caused the problem in the first place. You cry that us bringing Vetrano back promotes booting, but yet at the same time, your action of denying the vote to bring back a major aspect of this community and bring activity promotes inactivity. You beat down the people who are in turf overseers that are actually doing their job just because they don't hold the same war morals as you. You sit there in your whack lobbies, your turf wars, your turf overseer spots, and you cry about biasness and corruption when you're the one that belittled and bullied the people that actually did their job to the point to where they gave up. And when they gave up, the wall came crumbling down. And the people who were actually biased, who actually wanted to control you, your families, and your future, and this community for their own personal gain, proceeded to take over the spots of turf overseers, of developers. The community is so bad at this point that even the OGs, people from GTA 4, our founders, don't recognize us. Yes, modernization is key to survival, but it's also the key to destruction. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it fell in less than 3. Things come down easier than they were to build. And if we as a community do not change our ways and snap out of this little dark place we're in, and we don't have enemies standing side by side next to each other to make a decision and a vote for the betterment of this community, we will fall. We will crash and burn, and our founders will have put in all this work for nothing. The blessed families would have done all this for nothing. There will be no Hall of Fame if we continue where we're going. There will be no GTA 6 Mafia community reminiscing on the GTA 5 legends, major families. Because instead of being known as a major family, you will be known as the family that took part in the destruction of the community. Now, I'm not saying all major families. Most of the major families have decided to do better, but it won't be enough until we have a majority of this community. Something has to click. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Father Talks. I'm your host, Father Scaletto, or you can call me Jacob. That's my real name. Pick and choose whatever one you want to do. Now, before we begin, I apologize for the shit audio of my mic. The mic that I used to use to record in my previous videos fell on the ground and broke. It was a cheap mic, but I have ordered another one. It's on its way. So hopefully it gets here soon. Anyway guys, for those of you that do not know, this is a place where we come to discuss topics that are submitted for the next Don's meetings that are just talked about in chats like free talk, or that you submit to me that you want to discuss. We also cover, or I also cover, news, events, like anything, anything, and we talk about it. We have 3 topics on our list, on our discussion list for today. Now there's a lot more topics that are going to be covered in future episodes, but I wanted to divide and conquer these topics and still have material for the next episodes. Now, the topics are Frank Matthews being removed from Turf Overseer, blacklist of a couple families for booting, and the rules document. Now, to start off, we are going to go to the first topic to start us off that I mentioned, which is Frank Matthews being removed from TO. Now, these topics come from the Dons and Hierarchy meetings topic submissions and the Dons and Hierarchy Discord server. Today, early this morning, I was scrolling through, taking screenshots of what people have submitted and their reasoning. I am in no way, shape, or form going to be biased in these topics, and or I will give my opinion. And when I give my opinion, I'm going to have to state something or a reasoning behind why I think that way towards a topic. Now, to start off with Frank Matthews, Lucania went in the chat of Dons and Hierarchy, or the channel, and submitted exactly what is on your screen right now. As you can read, obviously you can read, you're not pre-cares. It's get Frank Matthews out of Turf Overseers for a commission more active. I've seen families take both Frank Matthews' side and Lucania's, but not just Lucania's, but just agreeing with what he's saying, or other families brought it up, whatever it may be. Is very divided on this topic. Now, my personal opinion on the matter is that, from my point of view, I have not seen Matthews in a war, in free mode, in whack lobbies. And actually, whenever he was asked about that, whenever people asked, hey, why don't you go into whack lobbies, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, he's old school, so he doesn't really, old timers don't really like the new ways. Your grandfather doesn't like some of the things you do, and that's just that. And at the end of the day, we see the other OGs of this community, such as Godfather Soprano, Matthews, etc., following the same standards. That they have this vision in their head that the community is being ruined by war, but that's besides the point. That's a whole another topic. From my point of view, I have not seen Frank Matthews in war-based activities. But whenever there is a meeting or a gathering of this community, he's one of the first people to arrive. He runs his family the way he runs his family. There's no rule stating in the rule books that you have to be active in whack lobbies and all that to remain in Turf Overseer. Turf Overseer is not about getting whacks or, being experienced in your family, being able to defend a war. It's a matter of fact that the rules of this community relating to turf. You respect the community. You've earned that position through your political standing. Many major blessed families can vouch for what I just said. Yes, I agree that if you want to hold a major standing within this community's control, or you want to hold a part of power within the community, you do have to remain active. The dude's pretty old. Not old, but he's not a teenager. He works. He has a life. And that's not saying most of you teenagers don't. That's just saying that his free time is different from yours. His responsibilities are different from yours. And we as a community need to understand that these people that have earned their right to gain the privilege and the responsibility to oversee a major aspect such as turf, that's been earned, guys. That's been earned. No matter if you think it hasn't or not. I was a turf overseer. Scaletto had to earn it. Yes, we fucked up. But whenever we weren't fucking up, we did pretty good. And with me being a turf overseer and my hierarchy being a turf overseer, there's just a lot of stuff that you guys don't see within the responsibilities that come with that job. Now, I think the definition of activity needs to be expressed and defined by the people that are calling for his removal. Because the way that I see it, every time, or even any time him or his family or his allies are added in that Discord server, Frank Matthews is always on his phone. He may not respond. He may not be in whack lobbies. He may not be doing TDMs, but he's there politically. He's there doing his job as a turf overseer. From what I know, this is my opinion, guys, so don't fucking butcher me over it. But from what I see, Frank Matthews is active on Discord. You can call him a Discord family. Fine. He does his job, in my opinion. That's my opinion. You can love it, you can hate it, but that's the way that I see it. Now, that's not to bash on Lucania. I'm not bashing on Lucania because there were 6 other families that brought this shit up. I don't know Frank Matthews that well. You guys might know him a lot better than I do, probably, most likely. But from what I see, he doesn't deserve to be removed. Now, the next topic is the blacklisting, or the submission to blacklist a couple of major families for booting. Actually, let me take a look here. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, Haters, so Silva, has submitted a topic to blacklist Avachi for having Nero in the crew. He submitted proof too. That's a first. This is, before we start discussing this is a topic that needs to be, this better be brought up at the next Don's meeting, because proof is provided. There's 5 upvotes, so people obviously agree with it. I mean, shit, I don't see why I wouldn't. And he also says they talk about booting and freezing as well. Now, I don't see any proof of them talking about it, but knowing the history of Nero is not very liked within this community or by its politicians. Now, if Vetrano were to come back, Nero would have to be gone along with some other terms, blah blah blah. Obviously, if Vetrano got blacklisted due to a person, aka Nero, and some other people booting, pulling IPs, whatever, that automatically goes to show that that person should not be in your crew, should not have your roles in the server, etc. Now, there have been situations like this where members of families have been directly blacklisted. That did not happen in the case of Vetrano. Vetrano as a family got blacklisted, which I don't agree with them having Nero in their tags. It's plain as day. Look at the screenshot on your screen. Plain as day. Actually, when was this submitted? This was submitted the 3rd of January, 3 days into 2021. That's not a good way to start off the year. And it's not going to be a good month at this meeting, because I guarantee you, especially, Avachi, what were you thinking, bro? You know damn well Vito is going to bring that up. You know Savante is going to bring that up. And if he doesn't, it's going to be brought up at another meeting if he's still on your tags. Either way, I think this is plain as day. I don't really need to give my opinion on it. I just did. It's wrong. And he should be kicked out immediately of Avachi, and proof should be provided to the community that it has been done before it is brought up at the Don's meeting. Obviously, you've been caught red-handed. Kick them out, call it a day. You get rid of it before the meeting, you show that you actually fucked up. It's not going to be as bad as it would be if you keep them there and try to defend it. I promise you, Avachi, Nero, or any person with a bad reputation that could bring down a family, one person's not worth your whole entire family and its future. It's not. Whenever Scaletto was brought up for blacklist, I offered myself to be blacklisted instead of the family, because Scaletto is bigger than just me now. I'm not going to be here forever, but that's just my 2 cents. Avachi, you can get pissed if you want. Yeah, Godspeed. Third topic. If you look on your screen, and I really saved the best for last, bro, because I think Menasia, yeah, however you say their name, I think that Menasia is a pretty good family. Now, I'm not gonna read, I'll read it. Basically what it says is, Violento has fixed the community documents in their favor. What the fuck? The only person that has access to the document apparently is Father Ritorno, as voted by the community. This shouldn't be a one person's job. It's not. He has members of hierarchy that helps him out. His Violento too that reviews the document, does not edit the document whatsoever. We review the document, we gather everything, we review everything. We do not type anything. I'm gonna have a man-to-man with you here, Menasia. I respect you. I respect your family. But one thing that you are not realizing with the rules document and with your false claim that we are rigging the rules in our favor is this. If it benefits one commission, it will benefit the other 7. It will. The only way that your claim works out is if the rule states, or if the rule is restricted to Violento privileges only. And for a rule to be in our favor, it has to state to the community that this is a Violento only privilege. Now, with your claim, I pray you bring it up at the meeting. Or I agree that it is wrong for only one person to have control of the document, but we cannot do anything about that due to the fact that the community as a whole voted. So therefore, Manasseh, you are going to bring up another vote to remove somebody that is actually updating the document, bringing changes. It hasn't had changes in 4 months. Violento has stayed up day and fucking night to review every article, every section, every paragraph, and every letter of that document and make sure it is 100% correct or actually by the deadline of 12 a.m. the day of the Don's meeting. We didn't do that to sneak in little rules that would benefit us, because we aren't the only people that can see that document. The whole fucking community can see it. It's funny how you're the only one crying out that bias and corruption and they do this and they do that to sway their own personal gain, but at the end of the day, Manasseh, if you had control of the Rule document, you would fucking cry if someone said the same to you. It's hypocritical that you point the finger at Violento, whenever at the same time, if the privilege was handed to you only, you would keep it and run with it. Violento is open, more than open, to compromise with the community, to respect the votes of every blessed family and the results. If it is voted for Violento to give more access to other commissions, if not all 7 at once, I think it should be just like turf overseers, in my opinion. 7 representatives, 7 commissions. And I don't mean to chew you out like this. It's just, I think that you crying out corruption and all that whenever Violento is the least fucking likely to do the shit that you're claiming. And also, it's very fucking hard to get away with what you're claiming. I think, and this is honest, bro, I still respect you. I think you're a fucking stand-up family. And congratulations on your blessing. I don't mean to beat you up. You guys are actually a stand-up family. You guys fight good in wars. We fought against you, and you guys are blessed now. And I want you to keep up the good work. I don't care if you go against us. I really don't. It's business. And you have your own goal in mind. But for all our sakes, and so there's not screaming, fighting, and 5-hour fucking long meetings, next time you submit this, I want you to actually, before the Don's meeting, I want you to find what rule benefits us. What made you come to the conclusion that that is a Violento only rule? And I want you to show proof too. I want you to highlight in the document, underline, circle, alright? I want you to highlight what words gave you that conclusion. I want to see where it says Violento only. I want a list of blessed families that feel the same way. Not unblessed ones that are new and just want power. I want blessed families to stand up with you and say, we feel the same way. I agree here, guys, but a lot of families have stood up and said that they feel that Ritorno shouldn't have all control. And I stand by that. But if not Ritorno only, who else would substitute in that the community can really trust? Ever since Ritorno has had the document, he's done a better job than myself. And I stayed up all night to do the document whenever I had it. I tried my best and the community lashed at my throat. And now the community's lashing at his throat. And it happens. Whenever you have power in this community, someone's gonna pull some bullshit excuse out of their asshole and throw it at you, okay? They're gonna bring you down, they're gonna fucking pull shit out of their ass that doesn't make any sense, like this fucking statement. And honestly, guys, that is the most deadly shit in this community. And that's mainly why we have these fucking problems. Father Toronto, Father Soprano, Drazzo, Farida have all left, and they left in a hurry. They saw this coming, and when no one listened to them, they abandoned ship. Viewing the inactivity and the corruption and the biasness within this community, you gotta start by looking in the mirror. I'm Father Scaletto, and I'm your host. I hope you guys enjoyed the 3rd episode of Father Talk.